The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, we got some articles.
Oh.
And they're fucking bad.
Shall we play a game?
You got several things to do. You got work, kids in school. What do you do when it's all over?
How do you hand something from one player to another? Dark soul light.
Turn on the TV, pick up the controller and play some games with the Nude Clan.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan, the video game podcast that loves raging on dumb fucking people that write articles on video games. I am your host, Caleb.
Who actually don't play the video games.
They don't.
I'm Zach, and I'm just as mad.
These
They just-
quote-unquote people
I'm
who are
Jacob.
quote-unquote journalists.
Yeah, all they do is play with their... Well, they play
Boyfriend's
with
cock.
play with their boyfriend's cock and their own
Their wife's boyfriend's
prostrates.
cock.
And they're prostrates. They're prostate.
I just-
prostrate.
I just
They
can't.
prostrate their prostates.
You can't trust people who like review video games, but then don't actually play the full video game.
Yeah.
You can't. You
Or-
can't do it.
Or that fucking Schreier bastard. Fuck that guy. I've got one of his books in my house, and I almost threw it away the other day. I was like, you know what? Fuck you, Schreier. Fuck you.
We're not going to do
I
a
got
book
banned
burning.
from.
What, are you gonna
I
get
got
banned from
blocked
his
by him
Twitter?
Finally,
Oh, did you?
yeah,
Nice.
because I tweeted out a thing where you know that game Dragon's Crown.
Yes.
With their big
He
voluptuous
wrote a
titties.
very infamous Kotaku article years ago about how like the sorceress from that game was like somehow
Yes.
pedophile bait, even though she's like a grown woman with size G titties.
Yeah.
And
Well beyond the age of
the
consent.
artist at Vanillaware, George Kamitani, said, "Oh, maybe this is more fitting to Jason Schreier's taste." And it was just three burly men, like dwarves. And I'm like, hey, remember when this guy wrote this article, and then the artist of the game decided to call him gay in the most epic way possible, and then he blocked me. I'm like, he blocked me. I'm just trying to say he got really lucky. He got custom art made by a really good artist. I should be so lucky.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, man, I guess he remembered when he blocked your ass.
Whatever, dude. He probably blocked
Still
it.
a
He's like,
PTSD.
he was in his bedroom, got blocked, looked up, and started jacking. He's like, fucking burly orcs. Like, fucking goddamn.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking... that guy's a prick.
I'm against crunch. Oh!
I don't
It's-
think he even works at Kotaku now. I think
No,
works
he
at,
doesn't.
like, the Washington Post or something.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Some other rag, but yeah.
Yeah. Something else to wipe your ass with.
Yeah,
Seriously, dude. Kotaku.
Some other publication that has no business inside of video games.
Yeah. I mean, Kotaku
Yeah.
doesn't even have any business inside. Every once in a
Okay.
while, I'll see something okay, but I guess that's...
I feel like when it's these kind of articles, they do it to like bolster up their like base, like, oh, like this game shows cleavage and it shouldn't. 'Cause it's like it's talking bad about women. And like
Misogyny.
why you're
This is a
misogyny, and it's like,
fucking
bro, you're just doing
patriarchy.
it. You're doing it for fucking views.
Yeah,
man. Like,
you're
you
doing
don't,
it-
Don't have it.
It's a two-way street because they're going to get the people that already agree with them, and you're not going to change their minds.
Yeah, and then-
they're going to get hate clicks from the people who don't agree with them, which is why I really love Twitter accounts like Saved You a Click Video, who literally just goes on those websites and then tweets out the article, but gives you like basically the TLDR, the Cliff's Notes of like what the
it
article's
says.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't give it traction. Don't let them spread this out so that it gets traction. Because it's just going to bring in revenue from the amount of clicks that it's going to bring the website.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
that shit. That's why you don't mention other specific things by name. You just be like, hey, you know that one thing that's, trending? Don't actually hashtag it or anything else like that because it's just going to bolster the bullshit.
Yeah. And that's true. And I was like, when you were saying that, I was like, yeah, it's going to get the people that agree with him, and then it's going to get the 90% of men that are like, what? Fuck that. And that's like most everyone that games. So I just say, that, they'll get it all. Yeah. The hate on Brulo says my hate on Kotaku is unfounded and somewhat founded.
It's founded.
Yeah.
Kotaku has been dog shit since it started. Like, I used to read video game websites like Games Radar and Joystick,
Yeah.
and I never read Kotaku ever.
Yep. And I'm an old Game Informer reader, so
Yes, same.
Yeah.
that used to be actually pretty good. But then,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know.
GameStop got its hands in it. No, it used to
Games
be
Radar
pretty
actually used to be
separate.
really funny. They had really funny writers until the whole, woke thing happened.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for a
Every-
while, you could actually have people who were talented and wrote funny things that
Fuck,
wouldn't
man.
get them fired.
So,
Every
like-
April there was Game and Farser. It was some pretty satirical and funny
Really?
stuff that was in Game Informer.
Fucking Game Pro had Lame Pro. I remember that
Yeah,
shit too.
that too.
Dude, all I remember is like the only Game Informer is when Blood Rain came out. They did an article about how she was like the first nude video game artist, like character in Playboy, and they had her picture, but they covered her nipples up. And man, I fucking jacked off to that so many times.
But then that would
I
have
still
been
have the magazine. It's been preserved.
that
in
would have been
gum.
fake
Yeah, dude,
news
it's-
because Laura Croft did that spread. So fake news.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well,
Have I introduced you to Rule 34, Zach? No, just kidding.
I was
Jack,
dude, I didn't
Jack
have
needs no
internet,
fucking
dude. I was
introduction.
like,
He knows me.
Yeah, I know A4. Me and A4 share the same work.
Spread it.
Anyway, yeah. So,
So-
we're gonna
we're gonna
Shit
dive
on
in.
Polygon,
Whatever.
Kotaku, any fucking article that should have
mean,
no
and
business
And here's the
being
thing,
an
like,
article.
honestly, man, like, if your article's, like, stupid, then we're gonna shit on it. Like, we're gonna be honest, man. Like, it doesn't matter who you're with, but if it's stupid and we find it unfounded, we're gonna talk crap.
Bad
And
takes
most
are
of these
bad
articles
takes.
are stupid.
Fuck
Exactly.
the politics.
Exactly. Bad takes are bad takes.
Because again, they make a headline that is so inflammatory just to get hate clicks, but then it's also like, hey, this
They take
game that
themselves
had
seriously.
full-on sex scenes is removing PG clothed butt shots.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Ah.
So let's dive into some of these bad boys. A4 found a couple for us. This one is an editorial. Well, at least they labeled it that. Kotaku, titled "A 12-Year Dream."
Oh, fucking pedophiles. All right, let's read it.
Let me tell you the best thing about being editor-in-chief of Kotaku. There's a writer or a producer on the team. They have an idea. It's something real, something they need to tell people, something
False.
worth knowing.
You don't need to know shit like that half the time. I've seen their articles.
They write it, they post it, and the readers show up. Maybe I've helped make that space for them, but really it's them. They did it, and I'm cheering them on. And that's it. You could probably tell where this is going, right? Since May 2009, first as deputy editor of Kotaku, and since 2012 as editor-in-chief, I've tried more than anything else I've done here to make those successes happen.
Dude, how many ribs did this guy have to remove to suck his dick that hard?
During moments good and bad, amid the escalating chaos that the different versions of
Oh
our
no, he
company
sent email to Marilyn Manson to find out.
perpetually brought, I put my energy into keeping Kotaku going and keeping Kotaku true. As I did that, I kept in mind that what made Kotaku wonderful in 2009, 2012, 2014, 2019, you name it, has been its staff. Its writers, editors, producers, every one of them, past and present, putting their journalism, their critique, and the rest of their ideas on the page. And
Every noun of that sentence should have quotes around it.
Man, you made me lose it. And my main job
Did you,
was just
did you lose your place?
No, I got it. And my main job was just to make sure they could and to support them as they did. I'm leaving Kotaku. Today's my last day as I gear up for a glorious month of vacation. Maybe I can go for some long runs, teach my kids to ride bikes, actually finish Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Does it ever end?
Oh, please.
Fake news, he doesn't have
I'm
kids.
working at home, and I can't. Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't think he puts so much time
Now
into
he's
it
going to
as he
focus
does.
on his kids.
Yeah, for real.
Then I'll start my new thing. Still journalism about video games and more of a return to a time when I was writing and reporting my own stuff. I've missed a lot in recent years. No, I'm not saying where yet. Follow my Twitter, folks.
Absolutely not.
That's all right. I'll pass.
Kotaku, like all of Gawker Media's sites, was birthed in rebellion. Deadspin.
Rebellion of taste is what it sounds like. Like,
Cocker.
Deadspin
Remember that lawsuit?
was designed to skewer ESPN. Jezebel to counter retrograde women's magazines. Gawker to thrash everyone, and Kotaku to challenge the establishment of GameSpot and IGN.
All right, shut the fuck up. You are just as bad as GameStop and IGN. Are you fucking kidding me? We're here to stop. No, you're the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
IGN's not as nearly as bad as Kotaku.
I fucking hate. No, I hate IGN too because they don't watch half the shit they review. They don't play a lot of half the shit they review. It pisses me off a lot.
And the guy that they allowed to steal the review and footage from. I can't remember what it was for the Dead Cells review. The guy worked at IGN.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're terrible. You can't. They're fucking terrible. They're the same fucking thing. You can't trust them.
The point of all of our sites was to get closer to the truth.
The most ironic sentence of all fucking time.
We fucked up. No, at Kotaku, the truth involved games.
We made a fucking walkie.
And game culture. We were to deliver the ideal as articulated by Gawker founder Nick Denton of The Real Story.
Fuck, I lost where I was at.
He expected us to show the public the reality that reporters of the establishment press didn't put into the paper, but told each other after hours at the bar, or get as close as we could to that.
Bro, you get paid to review fucking Mario games. Shut up.
Yeah, I liked that directive from Nick. Definitely more than the one where he suggested we run pictures every day of people making faces playing games. Thanks for the suggestion, boss. That journalistic value wasn't unique to Gawker Media, but the fervor to pursue it will forever motivate me. I hope it continues to drive the staff of Kotaku, current and former, to always dig deeper, always shun artifice, always work harder to bring the reader in on what you know, always find ways to be more real.
But they're not being
Hold your
real.
horses, buddy. I do not kiss fags.
Over the years, I had a lot of hopes for Kotaku, for our reporting to get to necessary details, otherwise wouldn't see the light of day, for our criticism to improve our appreciation and thinking about a still barely understood medium.
Did your mom know you're gay?
I can't believe he hasn't come in his own mouth yet. Like, Jesus.
Chief among my
He's got good
goals
endurance.
was to
Self-suck
challenge
2021.
people's expectations about what a big gaming site would write about and who would write it. I was inspired by small
not video
sites,
games at all.
Yeah.
pretty much, and brave voices, especially those from the groundbreaking website The Border House, which recognized the need to cover politics and people and to reach and address a diverse readership at a time when the big outlets were not doing so. Year after year, no shit, yeah, like joke. The Border House, wasn't that Final Fantasy VII thing? That freakish, like, fucking, like...
Oh, the Hell House?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Year after year, I was motivated by bold staffers to cover taboo topics because they mattered. I wanted a Kotaku that felt daring and inclusive, one that would make more diverse set of readers feel welcomed and seen by the site. I hope we made some progress there.
Clickbait rage-filled.
There's still
deliberately designed that
so
way.
much more to do. I can't read this. That's making me bad.
There's a shit ton more. Like
God.
it was an honor. It was
just
an
thanks
honor
a
to
bunch of
work with
people
you.
after
Beautiful
that.
note and good luck on your next. Where is he going?
Hopefully
Nowhere.
hell.
No, he's going straight to the unemployment line.
Yeah.
Let's go down the bread lines, gentlemen.
So, sucking himself off, and he works for nothing.
At
Just
the website that
fucking
arguably dragged down the entirety of video games journalism over the past decade.
Because they couldn't focus on actually just talking about the games themselves, but the implications of things behind the scenes and what they could mean for the culture.
Like, if we didn't have Kotaku, we probably wouldn't have like Polygon or any of these other fucking rags that don't actually talk about like real video games and just create problems to get clicks.
I mean, it's when you look at it, it's the Anita Sarkeesian effect as well. It's finding problems that I mean, and maybe some things are a problem, but what they do is they add these extra things that aren't a problem. They add these extra little bits of like relish on there that are stupid and don't mean anything. And
because the problems
it's done.
themselves don't stand up on their own, so they have to bolster them and like just lump everything in to get anyone.
Right,
actually
and like here's the thing: like if Kotaku or other ones like did like decent articles, actually fighting a problem, I could see that. If they did a really like something good about like maybe microtransactions, maybe something like that, but they don't. It's
They find
all
the
clickbait.
smallest goddamn person in the room, the 1% of everything else that is existing, an entire realm of what is going on inside a video game space, and bolstering that out to be the loudest thing in the fucking room. Like, oh, look at the misogyny that's happening in games. Realizing that all these other companies have been making games with strong female protagonists and antagonists throughout the entire history of video games.
Right.
But because
Yeah.
you find one fucking game company or even one fucking title that exploits all that shit, like we're talking Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, you ignore the entire fucking line of RPGs that have existed since the fucking 80s with Square, Enix, all of them.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of goes to the same thing when people were getting mad that we were being honest about Last of Us 2 not being a fantastic game. It's an alright game. Like, whatever. But the biggest thing I've seen on it is people saying, well, you don't like strong female leads. And it's like, bro, I busted through those Tomb Raider games. Like, I played all three the trilogy back to back to back.
Yeah.
It's like a set of blinders where they only really focus on like Western developed games because again, like they can't focus on games developed in Japan where these female characters actually have a sense of femininity because that's somehow perceived as a weakness. And it's just like, again, the real problem was Gamergate happening in 2014 where like that just caused everything to completely come falling down. And it's like, oh, we really have to focus on making sure that women have a voice. And it's like, they already kind of did.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
just-
it's the difference between having. It's the difference between having a strong female character like Princess Leia versus having Rey. Yeah, and Rey is strong. It's like so massively strong,
But that's
just
all
crazy
she is.
strong.
She's just good at everything immediately. There's
Yeah.
no struggle. It's not
There's-
interesting to watch.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about that. So it's
Is
not
it
a
really
strong.
in the power
empowering
at
if they
the end?
just give you everything right from the start? Like, come on.
Exactly.
Did we
yeah,
just talk
there's a
about how great
difference.
that was in Legend of Zelda, though?
Well, it's the option for it, but that would be a struggle to overcome in that game.
You get everything at the start of Breath of the Wild. You got to work if you want to beat Ganon at the start of the game, though. It's not
Yeah.
easy. You got to be good at that fucking game. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's got to be struggles in order for. Again, I don't understand why their idea of a strong female character is just someone who's good at everything right away. It's just like, all right, well, then they didn't grow.
Brullo said
That's-
Luke is the same. No, he's not. Luke gets his ass kicked right away. He gets his hand cut off.
Luke has to go
Rey
through.
doesn't
Yeah,
do
the
anything.
entirety of Empire is about Luke like coming to grips with the fact that he's not strong enough to beat
Yeah.
Vader and having.
He
to
doesn't
train.
use a lightsaber until Empire Strikes Back.
The entirety of the second movie with Rey is a bunch of bullshit happening that and at the end of the first movie she fights and defeats the main baddie of the new trilogy. Like it's
And I don't
somehow
even really
that's
have a problem with that. Like,
Yeah, see, like, and he was hurt. Like, he got shot with the fucking blaster bolt, so I'm gonna give him that.
I liked
He was
I
bleeding
liked
out.
The Force Awakens good enough, but The Last
Yeah.
Jedi was like,
It's
oh, this
retread.
makes no goddamn sense.
I would
Yeah.
like to go back to the Metroid thing because in order for Samus to actually be as good as she is, what do they do at the beginning of most Metroid games?
They take everything away from her.
They take everything away
Yeah.
from her and she has to build it back up again.
Yeah, that's true.
That's actual progress.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. So we got another one here from Vice.
Wait, I want to read this one. Is this the Duke Nukem?
the Duke Nukem
The
one.
hidden destructive
I wanna read this
legacy
one. Oh,
of
boy.
Duke Nukem. I love how it's the hidden. It's not hidden at all. Everyone knows Duke Nukem.
No,
This
it's the whole fucking point is that he's a dumb misogynist. It's like parody.
yeah.
Are you ready? I'm going to read this.
Go for it.
Duke aged poorly, and so did the game starring him, but we're still stuck with more clever imitators. It's the 25th anniversary of Duke Nukem 3D. You knew that, right? With everything else that's going on in the world, I'm sure you had marked this on your calendar. He was one of the iconic video game protagonists of the 90s. Maybe not as famous as Lara Croft or Solid Snake, but certainly on the list. You remember the game, even if you didn't play it. You remember the commercials, the red shirt, the sunglasses. You remember him lifting one-liners from movies like "They Live" and "Army of Darkness," and literally shitting down the decapitated throat of a defeated boss. You made space for all this in your brain, I'm sure, alongside your memories of Titanic and the Clinton impeachment. Duke Nukem was a thing, maybe not the biggest thing, but a thing, and remained a thing for years to come. And now its thingness cannot be ignored. So here we are. God help us.
We can't accept the fact that this 90s video game character existed at any point in history.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's so condescending. Like, oh, you know what's going on in the world right now. So I'm going to take time. So here's the thing. If you're so, like, you didn't mark it on your calendar with everything going on in the world, then fucking why are you writing an article about it, you piece of shit? Like,
Yeah.
don't.
Great in Headspace.
Also, considering the fact that Duke Nukem was coming in around the time as, like, I don't know, the Rodney King riots and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Let's trade off paragraph to paragraph. How about that?
No, you did the last one all by yourself.
I didn't read it all, though.
Yeah, whatever.
No one could.
Yeah, you
Fine,
can do
read
whatever.
this next one.
All right. As embarrassing as it is to write, what does Duke Nukem mean in 2021? It is a pertinent question. Not really. Mainly because he's such a clear, distilled example of a still pervasive trend. Bad faith satire as cover for enjoying toxic masculinity. Oh, yeah.
Trigger word.
While Duke's father as satire and or parody isn't exactly news. Failure. Some journalists were clear-eyed enough about this when his last game, Duke Nukem Forever, was released in 2011.
A decade ago.
His status as
That bombed.
I know. His status as a forerunner to more subtle forms of masking toxicity with his humor is worth unpacking. Gaming culture still does what Duke Nukem did. It's just gotten better at hiding it.
What, being straight?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Heterosexuality.
Yes.
Yeah, they haven't gotten any better at hiding it. If anybody's played Bulletstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they added Duke Nukem to that game.
Yeah. Exactly. That has always been in there, and it's very funny to see all that toxic masculinity in Spike Spiegel's voice from
Isn't
Cowboy
there a
Bebop.
fucking
Fuck
line
yeah,
in
Spike
Bulletstorm where a
Spiegel,
girl
bro.
says, "I'll kill your dicks"?
Yes. There is, and it's awesome.
I mean, like,
You'll murder my
isn't-
dick?
Isn't like I feel like Duke Nukem though in itself is satire because it's cashing
Oh, it
off.
totally
It's
is.
cashing off the 80s.
That's the whole point.
The 80s, you know, like the
Action
the
hero,
guy.
yes.
Yes.
Well, this
And
is
like-
the
Yeah, and it was even like that back in the old days of the DOS games when there were side scrollers.
yeah.
and like I feel like this dude is like he's going at
That's
such
the
a
point.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. I mean, it's the whole idea of like, I don't know. When I read an article about the movie Three Billboards, and they were
yeah.
mad about the fact that there was a character in there that was, I think he was, what was he? Was he racist? I think he was, right?
what?
He was racist in the Three Billboards movie, and they were upset. And I was like, this guy's a bad guy, though. Like, he's not a good character. He
Yeah,
does
like,
something
just because-
good, but he is.
Because racism exists in the movie doesn't mean it's always shown in a positive light.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't mean the movie is racist. And I'm like, are we
Like,
not
there's
allowed
a difference
to?
between three billboards and Birth of a Nation, I would imagine.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the
Aw,
argument,
but
though.
Context doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's
No.
That's kind of the argument that this article is putting forward as well, where it's you can't even talk about how it's bad because then you're promoting the fact that it's bad. You're just better at hiding it than they used to be.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, it's one of the things that bugs me is I've heard a lot of talk about like them talking about like changing Kratos for the new God of War game.
Yeah.
Because like he's so toxic, and it's like, bro, like that whole game was him becoming a better dad. Like a whole part of that was him burying his past and becoming a better person.
Yeah, but the whole point
But,
of it
like,
was that you don't bury it all the way.
Exactly.
And that's why he went back to it.
Right.
Because you can't do that as a
Well, and
human being.
it was more like I'm gonna face this and become better, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and that's fine. But
Exactly, but it's
Also-
like I just hate it, man.
Also, this guy can talk about bad faith satire all he wants, but back in the 90s, like, as much of a parody as Duke Nukem is supposed to be, teenage boys who were going to buy this game thought the idea of a dude who shoots aliens and gives strippers money was fucking awesome. And that's just how it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was promoting safe work for sex workers, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want the hookers to get any money. You want them to take it away by pig cops? Fuck that.
Pig cops.
No, the enemies in Duke Nukem 3D are literally cops that are mutated pigs.
Really? I've never
Yes.
played Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem 3D is awesome, dude.
Sounds
All
the
right.
most toxic man I know.
Yeah.
I just get what I got the next one. Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I mean, aren't we supposed to support all the OnlyFans out there? I mean, you're taking money out of strippers' hands.
Good.
Gosh, fuck off. We all know what bad faith satire is. It's the just kidding defense for doing anything ugly or hurtful, and often involves deliberately exaggerating sexist, racist, etc. tropes. So we can only name two, and so we just put etc. to be a prick. As a kind of preemptive self-defense, and as if exaggeration was proof of self-awareness, and therefore commentary. But it is. It is.
Yeah.
While exaggeration alone might make something parody, satire is supposed to exaggerate for a reason. Proper satire has a political point of view and cares about whether or not its audience is actually getting its message.
Wrong.
This is one major reason why comedian Dave Chappelle famously packed up shop when he noticed too many white people were laughing at his sketches about race for the wrong reasons. Even though it wasn't his fault, he did care enough to adjust his output so he didn't contribute to a larger ecosystem of toxic memeing. This is the
Why did
opposite.
his new special get like a 0% fucking...
Dude, he
critic
said some
review?
fucked up stuff on the new one.
Dude, his new specials are great, but it's great because you see the audience score is 100 and the critic score is like 0.
Really?
It's only because he went after the LGBT community. That's the only
Yeah,
reason
the alphabet
why.
people. That
The
joke is
alphabet
great.
people. It is. We're all just driving in this car together, and yeah.
I don't know where this car's going, but I want in on
You
this.
got the ones pushing things forward, and then you got the guy in the back. Yeah, it's a great joke.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of what we so often see, which is creators knowingly profiting from their ironic work being taken unironically. At that point, you've just become the thing you are criticizing. Assuming your criticizing was even genuine to begin. Your criticism
If
was
you're
even
not
genuine
with
to
me
begin.
full-fledged, you're against me.
Well, like, that means, like, so we stop everything. We can't have art because people are going to
Yeah.
take it the wrong way.
To
That's
that
what that's
point-
saying.
Have you ever known anyone who looks and acts like Duke Nukem? Because I know like a couple hyper-masculine people, and they're complete douchebags in real life. But obviously, it's
and they
like,
get called out
this
for
is-
it.
Yeah, we make fun of him, yeah.
Yeah, I made fun of that guy relentlessly.
Oh,
for being
is he
kinda
still at your
stupid.
job or did he quit?
Oh, he quit.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't quit, but whatever. I'm not going to talk about that.
Somebody quit him.
Yes.
Yeah. I
uh,
wish I knew how to quit you.
yeah. Oh, wait, I do. You're fired. Duke Nukem is a kind of patient zero for this in games. Not necessarily the first, but certainly the most concentrated send-up of hyper-masculine tropes in a single package. It's no accident that he appeared in the 90s, the decade that invented bad faith satire.
No, it was just normal shit back then.
Yeah.
The world was fine, but whatever.
Someone more invested than me could surely pinpoint the exact season The Simpsons went from being a critique of middle-class America to a grotesque collection of tropes and references without a target. But it might have been around the time Duke Nukem 3D was released.
I'm going to give him one thing. The new Simpsons episodes suck.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
but
the old-
that's
he's
that's
talking
like
90s
the coldest
though.
take ever. Like, no shit, new Simpsons suck, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's not making fun
he's
of...
missing the point on why the Simpsons started to fucking suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about when The Simpsons became great. And he
the
says it
90s, yeah.
sucked then, yeah. This is also the decade of video games... What? This was also the decade video games, came of age, so to speak, with the rise of adult-oriented PC gaming and Sony's aggressive bid to combat Nintendo's family image with M-rated offerings on the PlayStation 1. It was the decade when blood, sex, and foul language not only found their way into more video games, but became their selling points. Games like Phantasmagoria on the PC or Reloaded on the PS1 were in a big hurry to prove how adult they were by showing how R-rated they could be.
By the way, Phantasmagoria has way more misogyny in it in its last few hours than Duke Nukem ever does.
It does.
Duke Nukem was arguably the lowest variant of this, the gaming equivalent of a 12-year-old boy proclaiming his impending manhood by drawing boobs in his textbook.
This motherfucker right here pretending they didn't draw boobs in their textbooks.
Yeah.
You're not better than us.
Nah, he was always gay. He was ahead of the curve,
Yeah. He
quite
was,
literally.
Every time I close my eyes, I just see Joe's dick textbooks.
yeah. What about that Dickosaurus? That was
Yeah,
pretty good.
That was...
Everyone knows the real James drew dicks in their textbooks.
Jesus. I was theoretically Duke Nukem's 3D's target audience when it came out in 1996. I loved movies like Army of Darkness and Aliens. I had played and enjoyed Doom and Wolfenstein. And yeah, I liked boobs, sure.
Debatable.
On the other hand, I had cried during Final Fantasy VI.
On men, maybe.
And mainly liked RPGs and adventure games. I had just played Full Throttle, which was based on a lot of the same hyper-masculine tropes as Duke Nukem, but managed to avoid overt toxicity. This might be why the game landed was such a thud for me. It felt embarrassing even to my pre-feminist... Oh, my Jesus Christ. To my pre-feminist 1990s boy's brain. I couldn't articulate...
Until 2013.
They literally
Come on.
just pointed out that little bit of a niche of game that they didn't prefer to like when they were, in fact, playing Square RPGs.
Yeah.
My point exactly.
I couldn't articulate why at the time, but in retrospect, a lot of it had to do with what Duke Nukem leaves out of the films it's referencing.
Army of Darkness's protagonist Ash, while also a send-up of 1980s Reaganite action heroes like those played by Stallone and Schwarzenegger, is more than just macho one-liners and ass-kickery. He's also a ball of insecurity who cries, screams, gets hurt, and embarrasses himself. Bruce Campbell brings a Jackie Chan-like vulnerability to the role that offsets a lot of the macho bullshit, which is the explicit basis for its comedy.
I don't think Sam Raimi had that shit in mind when he made Army of Darkness.
Ash is one of the most misogynistic characters ever.
Give me some sugar, baby.
And here's,
Isn't that what
and
he
here's the
says?
thing,
Like,
so for Comic Con, like I cosplay Ash Williams with like the chainsaw hand and shit because I fucking love it. But like, here's the thing: if you've in the new TV series they did, he like the whole reason he re-kickstarts the fucking Deadites is because he fucks this chick at a bar bathroom, brings her home to his trailer, and she has a tattoo that's French, and she's like reading it to him, and he's like drunk. He's like, "Oh, I got something I can read you," and he fucking reads. He reads an Necronomicon to impress her, and he re-kickstarts everything. Like,
this guy clearly
he's an
predicts the ending
idiot
of Army of Darkness, where he grabs a woman in that famous D-Day rapist kiss pose, where he says, "Hail to the king, baby."
you know what's funny? That's how I ended our last episode.
Yeah.
Shop smart. Shop as smart. But here's the thing, like, he's an idiot. He's a dumb character. He's vulnerable. He fails. He fails because he's stupid.
Yeah, it's
and
not
that's
because,
a part of it.
Like, he's kind of right in that it's a send up of those action movies, but it's not like meant to be a comment. I don't think it's meant to be a commentary on how masculinity is toxic. I think it's just meant to be, what if an action hero was also a fucking moron?
Yeah, what if he was so inept
Yeah,
that he charges
it's
on
not
shit?
a deep dive dig to say, look, this is what the artist intended. And then you're just filling it with bullshit that was never there to begin with. Similar to a queer allegory for The Matrix, apparently, now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Okay, so Bruce Campbell brings a Jackie Chan. While this hardly makes the character more progressive, it's still portraying masculine vulnerability as something to laugh at, because it is. It does make him more human, and it's telling that this is precisely what Duke Nukem omits. Ash is hapless. Duke is perfect. Ash is capable of doubt, fear, making mistakes. Duke isn't. Duke Nukem is clearly how Ash sees himself inside his own head, but without the waking reality where he repeatedly gets taken down a notch. Or several.
As long as you don't get a game over.
Yeah, then you get taken down a notch.
Yeah.
I did revisit Duke Nukem 3D again, just to see if its references or humor landed any differently for me now. I remember the idiotic one-liners.
All from movies that he claims to like.
Spoken with the panache of a phone answering service. I remember the over-the-top blood, the comically big weapons, though they do beg the question of how Duke's over-the-topness differed from Doom's, which it basically doesn't. See, I was going to say that. If he doesn't like buckets of blood and stuff, like, how did he enjoy Doom? The big weapons, what's different? Because the Doom Slayer doesn't talk?
Because like, it's funny, too, because Doom kind of takes itself seriously, whereas Duke Nukem doesn't.
Right.
Like, it knowingly has dumb shit in it, like the fact that the enemies are just cops that are just mutated pigs, whereas Doom, you're fighting actual demons.
Right. So, sorry. Doom, adolescent as it was, okay. had a fairly focused satanic metal vibe about it, like a Slayer album come to life.
Literally.
While not a satire, its aesthetic of exaggeration made sense as a cult camp, and has proven to have some amount of longevity and flexibility in various sequels. By comparison, the guiding aesthetic for Duke Nukem 3D seemed to be Doom plus boobs. The utterly gross sexism is really the only thing that distinguishes it at all.
Really?
So
That's
the one
only
thing. The one thing I noticed, this
Doom's
guy
got
has
great
the entirely
gameplay, too.
wrong take. Doom takes itself seriously, and Duke doesn't. But the reason he thinks that like Doom is silly and Duke Nukem isn't is because Doom doesn't have tits in it.
Yeah. Although I love how it's like they're basically the same thing other than this. And it's like, I guess. I mean, Doom's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Whatever. I remembered the strippers you can pay, the softcore porn movies that abound on every screen. What I didn't remember were the extremely problematic Aliens references where you come across naked women begging for death encased inside alien parasites.
Which is funny, because people bitched about that in Duke Nukem Forever, because it's also in that game, forgetting that this shit was in Duke Nukem 3D like 2 decades prior.
Yeah.
Yeah, just rehashing it.
This is precisely where thoughtless reference becomes a big problem, because you always bring some piece of the original context of the reference with you. Otherwise, the reference would be unintelligible. And that context here, as anyone who's seen an alien film should know, is interspecies sexual violence. Her "kill me" line is copied verbatim from the film, making the context unmistakable. Yet we're meant to encounter it as little more than aliens reference. Cool. Before we shotgun her in the face and move on.
So he doesn't like it because...
Appropriate response.
Because a 12-year-old playing this game in 1996 doesn't care about like shooting a woman in the face, because that was just normal back in the 90s, obviously.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, like just that doesn't sit right with me, like that way he's saying it. Because it's just like, you are supposed to look at it and go, aliens reference, badass. I snuck and watched that movie when my parents weren't, so they didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's supposed to be. Like,
well, it also changes depending on who you are as a person. I don't think you have to shoot the chicks in Duke Nukem 3D. Like, if I saw that, I would feel bad about it.
Listen, in Cyberpunk 2077, I didn't have to kill the people that cut me off in traffic, but I still do.
Yeah. It's like, hey, man, I think this is more about this writer.
It's the same satanic panic bullshit that happened when like Grand Theft Auto 3 came out. It's like, you can kill hookers in this game, and it's like, yeah, you don't have to, but like, you can if you do
anything. It's open sandbox.
Why wouldn't you go?
Yeah, get your money back, man. This metal bat's going to make sure I get a refund.
Jesus Christ.
That pussy wasn't as good as I thought it'd be.
Charge back.
Oh my God.
So,
No, I've never played.
Son.
I've never played a.
This
Grand
is
Theft
how we
Auto
play
video
Grand
game.
Theft Auto.
Really?
Yep, never.
Man, they're great.
Yeah, they just didn't. I don't know.
Have you played Saints Row? Okay,
Saints Row.
good.
Saints Row is honestly the better series, if I'm being completely fucking 100% honest.
No way, man.
I've only played
Yes.
3. 3 was very, very fun.
There's
But-
no
Here's
way
my
a Saints
argument.
Row
Here's
game
my-
is better than Grand Theft Auto 5.
To break up the article we're reading, here's my argument between Saints Row and Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a very impressive simulation of a city full of the exact physics and mannerisms and all that stuff that you would find in a real city. Meanwhile, Saints Row 3 is a video game.
We trying to like make a
They're
joke,
both-
like, because that.
They're both video games.
Hey, Fred, that didn't
was-
land.
Yeah. 3
Wrong
was
audience.
extremely
It's okay. Someone at home was laughing, I guarantee.
Someone at home's like fucking loser.
And I noticed with like
Good.
4 and Get Out of Hell, you're actually given more of an open world, so you have wings, right?
4 and Get Out of Hell are weird because they're not even like crime sandbox games at that point, like Grand Theft Auto. They're just like Crackdown or Prototype, but with like, yeah.
But with
Gotcha.
dildos.
I love 4 and Get Out of Hell. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Saints Row
enjoyed
2 is way better than Grand Theft Auto 4, and Saints Row 3 is better than Grand Theft Auto 5. Fucking fight me.
Nah, come
No.
on.
3
That's
is a
all right.
lot of fun, though.
3 is a good ass game.
It is. It is a great game.
Well, look, there's more article.
There
It's
is.
way more fun than worrying about how it looks and who gives a fuck about the plot. It's zany fun. Yes.
Yeah,
Agreed.
When you have a mission where you have to gun down a
But-
bunch of gimps carrying horse carriages out of a gay club and they explode when you shoot them. I'm like, all right, this game rules.
That's pretty good.
I'll eventually get around to the others, but if we're doing comparisons, I'd say Saints Row 1 and 2 are just as bad as Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 because the checkpoint systems in 2 are fucking broken in Saints Row 2.
Maybe from a gameplay standpoint, in that sense, sure, but like Saints Row 2 is just so dumb. It's before the series went completely clown shoes bonkers with Saints Row 3.
One word
that it
to
makes it a good
describe
parallel to Grand Theft Auto 4.
Zany.
Yeah. I don't mind the zany. I'm just saying Saints Row 2 hit a good balance of like zany where you have missions where you're spraying buildings with a septic truck, but also had enough serious moments to make you care.
I didn't care whatsoever for it, but
whatever.
I could see it. I thought the story was ass, and there's so many like bad shit. Like everybody complains about Grand Theft Auto 3 and like the checkpoint system and Grand Theft Auto in general because there was like no checkpoints almost up until what 4 or 5?
Yeah, 4
in mid missions. And
well, that's because it's made by British people and they don't know how to make video games. So
yeah,
they're as bad at games as they are at teeth.
And drawing.
Dentistry.
Jesus Christ. So, thinking you can just cherry pick a lot of cultural symbols like this and arrange them willy-nilly without having to address any of their baggage is typical of masculine gaming's culture. Zero accountability stance that claims bad faith satire. Bad faith satire. God, my list just came back out. As its persistent alibi.
Let me break down that word salad in a way that I think is palatable. The guys who were making Duke Nukem 3D liked movies like They Live and Army of Darkness and just decided to lift those quotes because they thought those movies were cool. Blood, another build engine game, does the same fucking thing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like this whole article just seems like it's just.
I mean, it's pretension incarnate, but like, you're reading way too deep into like these guys liked a couple of these movies and threw these quotes in there because they liked them. Again, Blood does the same fucking thing. If the Doom Slayer talked in Doom 1 or 2, they'd probably put that shit in there too. I mean, you could tell just from the soundtrack they liked Alice in Chains and Slayer, so they just lifted those songs wholesale and put them in the soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It should seem familiar to you even if you've never heard of Duke Nukem, because we've spent the last 20 years with more insidious variants of it in games like Grand Theft Auto.
There we go.
Ooh.
It's literally who is that politician that hated video games? The lawyer, Jack.
I don't know.
Off.
He's been so irrelevant for so long. I literally forgot his name. But that guy, he was always
it's because we had a
Theft Auto.
pandemic and we couldn't do anything but play video games at home.
No. Because this guy, like back in the early 2000s, this Jack, fucking I forget his whole name, but like he was railing against Grand Theft Auto because of this bullshit, and then he got disbarred because it's like, he's going against stuff that doesn't even fucking matter.
So, at the end of the 90s, bad faith satire was evolving. Shows like South Park became adept at playing both sides of the fence. They adopted a political point of view when it suited them and indulged in shock for its own sake when it suited them. In other words, they mixed bad faith and good faith satire, often leaving the audience with conflicting messages as to whether they were criticizing anything. And this is the sort of strategy that defined Rockstar and its imitators. At the time, GTA 3 impressed everyone with its fidelity to the films it was referencing. Unlike Duke Nukem, Rockstar's imitations of Goodfellas, Scarface, and other crime gangster movies were reasonably well written and well acted. In a world where quality writing and voice work had yet to become the standard, this felt thrilling. However, if you look past the well-crafted presentation, GTA 3 had little more to say than Duke Nukem when it came to women, masculinity, and violence.
Again, because feminism wasn't invented until 2013, so...
Yeah. For every cutscene that felt like it could have been lifted from a respectable HBO drama, for every radio bit that felt like an inclusive commentary on American hypocrisy... There were dozens more where awesome boobs and awesome blood was the only real takeaway.
Again, because it was the early 2000s, that shit was just normal.
Bro, what does this dude have against the woman's body, man? Like
he's heterophobic.
Boobs. You can't have boobs, bro. Man, boobs are great, man, and I like the people behind him. Don't get me wrong, But like, why you gotta talk shit on women's bodies, man? Like, you don't sound very feminist of you to
Yeah.
talk shit about the boobs.
You gotta embrace a woman's sexuality.
Yeah, man.
right.
Not
Yeah.
oppress it.
Got to check
Exactly.
that oil. Check that oil.
See, and that's what's so dumb about this article is he's like saying I'm a feminist, but at the same time he's like restricting like women. He's like, because men made it. That's it's irrelevant.
Yep.
Again,
That's
this is
hands
why
down
when I
irrelevant.
tweeted this is why when I tweeted at this guy, I said, "Hope she sees this, bro."
Yep.
It was The Sopranos 1 minute, Duke Nukem the next, and this was by design. This kept you off balance, constantly questioning whether it was satire or not, making it a kind of Rorschach test.
Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Shock.
Rorschach sauce test for differing politics.
Is Rorschach the new dude kind?
Rorschach might be the new dude kind.
God damn.
If you wanted to believe it was satire, there was enough real satire to convince yourself of that. But if you wanted to just ogle strippers and watch people bleed after you shotgun them to death, the game did nothing to stop you. Oh my God.
So that sentence basically speaks to me as, if you want to be right wing, you're bad. If you wanted to be left wing, there's enough here to make you think that you are.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
The fact that it's a Rorschach test is
No, it's a Worcestershire.
whatever the fuck it's actually called.
Bro, this dude just does not support women working in the sex
So
industry.
I
It's
want
terrible.
everything the way that
Fucking-
I want it right here, right now. Nothing else has to be ambiguous whatsoever. I want it to be this way. And if God forbid someone else takes it or interprets it a different way, then that's wrong think.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Worcestershire. It's a Worcestershire thing.
Jesus.
I like a little Rorschach sauce in my beef Wellington.
Yeah. Excuse me, ma'am. Can I check your Worcestershire sauce? I would like
I'm
to
sorry, are you having a stroke, sir?
Worcestershire.
Sir, this is a Wendy's drive-thru.
Yeah, I need the
This is
Worcestershire.
Wendy's.
Worcestershire.
I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
We stopped putting that in our chili a long time ago. Leave.
You got it?
Oh, sorry. I forgot you finished that. This is essentially the landscape we live in today. Game makers have not abandoned these toxic masculine fantasies, but have just become much more adept at walking this line between satire and indulgence, catering to audiences that essentially still want Duke Nukem, but wrapping
No
them
one
in
wants
the
Duke
plausible...
Nukem.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the joke, and no one wants it.
But
No,
wrapping
I
them...
mean, dead ass, if a fucking game developer came out with a game where it's like, you could just be a normal straight guy who shoots aliens and maybe likes boobs, I would buy
Yeah.
it immediately. That's basically the basis of why I think Honey Pop is so great, or half these hentai games, because it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, dude.
oh shit, I could just be a straight guy? Awesome.
I want to watch. I want Vice to do a thing on Honey Pop. I think it'd be really funny to watch him like cry.
I'm sure
to
they
cry
have.
as he's like making the puzzles to fuck the chick.
Especially after in the sequel they made the Arabian chick a TSA agent as her job.
Oh my God.
You know why?
Oh,
That's
wow.
fucking comedy schweiss.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. But wrapping them in the plausible deniability of a much more sophisticated self-awareness. In that way, Duke Nukem is kind of like a ghost that haunts video games, an eternal avatar of toxic male desire, and that can find hidden expression anywhere. God, I can't read. Is the cleverly written, well-acted game you are playing now secretly somewhere deep down? Still just Duke Nukem? Did my father hit me when I was a child? And am I internalizing it now? Does it essentially treat women the same way? Does it indulge in the same sort of empty, problematic references? And does it ever seem like it's excusing those things by appealing to a lazy sense of irony?
So let me unpack that one real quick. Does your game have women that aren't wearing burqas? Congratulations. You're as bad as Duke Nukem in the context of the year 2021. Good job, asshole.
Here's my thing. If you don't like it, don't fucking play it.
Yep. Don't
Yeah,
buy the
exactly.
fucking
No
game.
one is making you play these games. Oh, I write for Vice, and you have to play the first 30 minutes of a video game so I can
Is
review it.
Persona
Yeah,
5
somehow
like Duke
I have
Nukem
to
because
do
you
my
can
job.
you can possibly grab a girl's boobs in it, even
They
though they
can,
don't
yeah.
show that explicitly and only heavily imply it?
Like, I just don't... I don't know.
Yes.
There are other walks of life. Get your head out of your fucking ass, and if you don't like it, then maybe you shouldn't be inside of video games. You shouldn't be covering them.
He's not. He's working at Vice. It's not Motherboard.
There you go.
It's
Exactly.
Vice.
Yeah.
We all know Duke Nukem is terrible garbage.
Fair. Like the one thing in the article. And yeah.
Look. Duke Nukem Forever, bad game. Duke Nukem 3D, still
Great
a good build
game.
engine game. Don't care.
Yeah. But in a way, that's made him a convenient straw man, something we can always use to excuse ourselves from not doing better. It's easy to point to Duke Nukem and say, well, we're not doing that. The same way it's easy for an alt-right troll to point to a literal neo-Nazi and say, well, I'm not that. But you don't have to be that to be carrying on its legacy. You just have to not care whether your audience thinks you are.
Okay,
Dude, I don't give a fuck what my audience thinks about me at all. If I did that, I'd be dead.
Who wrote this? I want to see who wrote this, and it's not even.
Apparently,
First of all, why
he
does
used to work at?
Go ahead.
He used to work at Harmonix, unfortunately.
Who?
Let me find him. Actually, Matthew Weiss.
Weiss.
The hidden destructive legacy of Matthew Weiss.
Yeah, writer slash narrative designer slash producer, MIT, Harmonix, NYU, Echo, Wesleyan, he slash him. Dude, this dude
I
has
knew it!
pronouns in his bio.
I knew it. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to. You ruined
He
it.
also has.
I was going to put $5
he also
down.
has less
How's-
than 1,500 followers.
Oh.
But is he verified blue check marked?
You know what? This is goddamn.
Oh,
This what? Okay, this is
So
what I feel
how's
like.
Harmonix doing, by the way? Oh yeah, that's why
Ever
you're.
since they let women make Rock Band 4, not great.
This
with-
is probably why you're stuck writing these fucking articles.
Well, here's the thing with these kind of articles, it doesn't feel like there's any. It's gonna sound weird, but no heart. Like they're just writing these for clicks. They're not writing these to make a real statement. They're writing them because it's their fucking job.
Yeah.
Like they're choosing things they know are gonna bring them views.
Hey,
That
can you
people
play Duke
throwing
Nukem's
in-
20th anniversary edition right now and write about its toxic masculinity? I don't really have time for that. No, do it now.
Yeah, like dude, I'll be
somehow-
straight up. I'm not gonna play a Duke Nukem game. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm going to play Duke Nukem 20th anniversary edition at
There's-
some point
there's
because I played
better
Blood last year
games.
and fucking loved it.
But again, it's like my thing gets pissing me off that I'm worried about the God of War sequel with, because they're like, no, we have to change Kratos. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You
They will.
don't.
Don't worry. They
He
did it
is-
with fucking
dude.
Last of Us. They'll do it with Kratos.
It's terrible. I will
See what's
freak.
up Corey Balrog's
It's so
sleeve
stupid.
because it's kind of iffy.
It's so dumb. Stop.
So, but like you were saying, Zach, and then just barely near like the tail end of that last paragraph there, all of a sudden it needs to rope into politics.
Brulo, his statement
that?
is, I want my fucking paycheck. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's nothing
also
more.
this weird war between. It's this weird war against sexual. Like they want people to be sexually liberated, but they don't like either extreme. They don't like
Right.
femininity, and they don't like masculine.
Like, I feel like, I'm going to paint a picture. This kid was really into this stuff growing up, right? And his parents beat him with a fucking belt or a switch because they walked in and playing this game like, oh, it's got boobies in there. No, you got to go to church this Sunday and repent.
Oh,
Like, that's the kind of dude he had to be because his article, he's so at odds with himself. Like, okay, like I get some of the points he's making with toxic masculinity. I get it. I understand what he's saying, but you can't say, well, I like these movies for this, but I don't like this because of this. Like, you're doing exactly what your article says you're against. Is you're cherry picking your own, like your memories. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're cherry picking to prove a point instead of using facts to show the real point.
I was going to say that his parents didn't beat him, and that's the problem.
Yes, that is the problem. And then he found one of those liberative college girls, and then all of a sudden it flipped his script, and all of a sudden he's just going to parrot back whatever she told him.
God damn it, Matt! I told you to like chicks. Fuck.
Yeah. Boy, get the belt.
Because there had to be some purview that his parents allowed him to watch, or at least he did it behind their backs, to where he was allowed to consume all this content when he was younger, and then flip the script later on.
Right, because, like, you know,
I
like,
don't think it was in the household. That
agreed, because, like, if my mom would have walked in on me playing Grand Theft Auto, like, back in the day, she would have beat my ass with a
Yeah.
chancla. I would have been beat to an inch of my life for playing that, because she didn't think it was good.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's right, but
I mean, yeah, no, I'm not saying she's not right. But what I'm saying is, like, I'd have been fucked up.
yeah,
And, like, I don't know, man. I just don't.
yeah. I mean,
I feel like it's exactly what it says in the article. It's a straw man, and you're going after the straw man instead of, like, hitting the bigger point that you could be.
yeah,
So-
this guy's a pussy, and
Inside
basically,
of the article, he said Duke Nukem is going to be the straw man while presenting a straw man argument himself.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the irony.
Like, as anyone who takes games like Duke Nukem or Grand Theft Auto seriously will find out very quickly that that's not how you can act in real life. I say this as a kid who was very impressionable. It's just not how it works. Like,
Yeah.
This is why Grand Theft Auto 5 is an entire satirical take on all of meta culture back in 2013.
And
Period.
even then, it's like trying to tell a very serious story while still having like a company called like Boob Book or whatever the fuck the Facebook company is called in that game.
or piss water.
It's got
No,
like
it was
Saints Row level
Life
humor
Invader.
while also trying to present itself as a serious crime drama, and it's these two like elements that just kind of clash. And I'm like, what? Like,
It's Life Invader, and it totally fits in 2021. Yeah.
See, Bruno,
no, it does. It does. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it's like
Argument.
watching two shows that got like it's like you're watching The Sopranos mixed with like Xavier Renegade Angel or something, and
Yeah.
it's just it doesn't work together. But it's like again, you can't take that shit seriously because it's so overblown that you'd have to be a complete moron to assume that people would take that as like gospel.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Wait, real quick, Brulo, that's not my Mormon upbringing. It's my mom was raised in a hood in California with a lot of Mexicans. so that's the upbringing it was. It was that.
yeah,
Yeah, Mormons don't beat their children when they've already got them manipulated.
Yes, they do. My buddy.
Okay, you came across a couple, but they're easily manipulating their children younger that they don't even need to beat them by the time it
But-
comes.
I mean, I feel like, sorry, going back to what A4 was saying, I do feel like he's acting like video game players are stupid. He's acting like people who read the articles are stupid because he's saying you're not seeing it. It's not real satire, but it is. Like, that's
Well,
what satire is. We know
there's a
that's
great
not
meme.
good. I'm not gonna beat a prostitute to death. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I'm not going to
Yeah.
recreate the
I'm gonna fuck
prostitution.
her, and then I'm gonna let her keep the money.
yeah.
We're
It's-
progressive
There's a
on
great
here.
meme that goes around on Twitter a lot where it's like leftist Twitter or SJW Twitter is just inventing, like is 95% inventing a guy that doesn't exist and then bitching about them. And that's exactly what this is. It's like,
Yeah.
bruh, you're talking about Duke Nukem in 2021. Like the only people who care about that character in this day and age are like people who love boomer shooters. Granted, there's a lot of them, but they're also smart enough to know that it's a fucking joke.
Yeah. And I mean, like,
Trust
to be
me,
honest,
I follow enough
we've
people on Twitter to know this.
all met the dude that like is a douche like that. Like, I know.
Yeah.
I know some, but I know that like they're a prick.
And they're far outnumbered by anybody else
Yeah.
who have come from their own ideology. I've
like
seen, 10 feminists compared to one toxic masculinity of Duke Nukem.
Yeah,
It gets far outnumbered on any other ideology. So this is just
But even the people who still care about Duke Nukem in this day and age are like they're aware of the joke. There's a great Twitter by a guy named Kino Fabino who makes like Duke Nukem memes, but they just turn him into like a big buff like dumbass and like or
I'm
a
gonna-
himbo if you know what that term means. And
did
it's
you say?
fucking great. It's like wholesome in a weird way.
yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
gonna kick
like
bubble
no
gum
one
and chew
doesn't
ass.
understand this
Yeah.
shit. You're just
Yep.
this essay is for no one but for him to try and feel better and to collect a paycheck.
Yeah, he likes the game and he wants to purge himself of that.
And
Honestly,
to
though,
possibly get his wife back from
Yeah.
the mall.
yeah.
The
Fucked
cuck
up.
is strong in this one.
Dude, it's a fucking it's ridiculous because it is supposed to be just like a huge joke, and it's a knock on it, all of those tropes, and it's I don't get the whole idea of even mentioning the fact that it is a knock on it is possibly like problematic, and you just hiding your true feelings.
It's both a knock on it and also it is a bit of a power fantasy, but like it's so exaggerated that like there's no way that anyone could actually like think that this is them in real life unless they're truly gone, like the actual douchebags. Case in point, another game made in the exact same engine that came out like a year or two ago called Ion Fury. It was going to be called Ion Maiden, but they got sued by the band.
Yeah.
Is like literally just Duke Nukem, but a chick. And it plays on all the same fucking tropes and down
Yeah.
to like having movie quotes as lines. And no one got mad at that shit. The only thing they got mad at was that there was like a shampoo bottle that wasn't even in the game. It was like in a hidden room that you couldn't access normally that said "Oh gay" instead of "Olay."
Yeah,
Like-
and then they caved to him, and then eventually uncaved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, that's the same fucking character just with a vagina, but people aren't getting mad at that. It's like, oh, so women can act like toxic masculinity. Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
I
don't
think
know.
I think you could even give strippers money in that game and say "Shake it, baby." I haven't played it, so I don't know. But like, that
It's
would.
made in
Let's
3
put it this way: that game works. It has such an attitude like that wouldn't shock me if that was in the game. It just wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fine when they do it, but when we do it in the context when it was more okay, the 90s, it's not. I don't understand the character
It's a reach.
assassination on a character that's not even relevant anymore. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a, what would that make it? 25+ year reach. I'm trying to
Yes,
remember what year.
25. He said literally it was the 25th anniversary. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. So it was a real slow news day.
You're gonna go
Yeah.
Michael Jordan Space
Yeah, he
Jam
could have been.
reach.
He could have been talking about the Legend of Zelda 35th anniversary.
Yeah.
Something that would have been great to talk about.
The only further reach would be him trying to suck his own micropene at this
But he
fucking
did it.
point. And he did it.
I need to get money because I need to pay back the hospital for removing all of my ribs in an attempt to suck my dick, and it's still not enough.
Or I never received my last couple paychecks from Harmonix.
Yeah. They haven't. They kept bouncing my checks. I think we're out of money, guys. Yeah. Man, this is crazy. I don't know. It's dumb.
And don't worry, all of like retro FPS Twitter has been bitching about that article all fucking week, so we're not alone on this.
It just, but here's the thing, like, and again, what's going to happen is you have your camps, man. You have people like us who are right and think it's stupid because we know the difference between how to live life and how to play video game. And then you have his camp, which are like putting their hand on the ground, smashing with a hammer and going, "Those fucking cucks!" Like, they're idiots.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like they
Yeah, I'm
can't
gonna play the
delineate
knife game
between
and-
fantasy and reality. This
I
is
played
like
the knife game.
like they're complaining about the people that they actually are. It's like, oh my god, could you imagine if someone couldn't figure out the difference between like real life and this shit? It's like, yeah, dude, that'd be weird.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a waste. I mean, people worry about way too much, and it's.
Right.
I mean, like like it's like the 50 Cent game. Like that game is kind of like a Duke Nukem style game. He says he's a misogynist. He's an
It's a
asshole.
fucking 50
He's
cent power fantasy.
exactly,
He
and
literally
it's
Power
shoots
of
down
the
a Texan
dollar.
guy in an Apache helicopter out of the sky while he's going 50.
50?
I want you to fucking die.
yeah, it's awesome, and it's the same shit though. It's really the same shit because he says horrible things. He's like got his taunts. He's just like bitch. Like he treats the chick like trash. Like it's all the same
the
stuff.
The whole point of that game is he kills a bunch of Arab people because he wants a diamond encrusted skull.
Yeah, it's awesome. No one's bitching about that. It's like just as ridiculous.
With going into that too, he bitches about Simpsons and South Park, but not anywhere other than I see the Boondocks.
yeah,
And the Boondocks gets pretty fucked.
Yeah.
And as someone who
Yeah,
likes the
for
show,
real.
like it gets bad. Like he's cherry picking.
Yeah.
Again, like I said earlier, he's
yeah.
just,
And it's like, yeah, seriously though, like I don't know. There's plenty of examples of this still being a thing that is just like so over the top. Like
John Wick.
yeah, exactly. That's another one that's
he's
I mean,
fucking
it's not
Bobby
even
Yoga.
misogynistic, but like,
No, he's not.
You know what I mean?
But he's hyper
Fucking
masculine,
male power
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. He's got trash
They
facial hair,
definitely
but-
give the women power in the hotel in
Brulo.
John Wick 2 and 3. 'cause
Brulo
the-
says I left Wallace twice. His life comes back to 50.
Yeah, it's 50.
I mean, you look at the
because
007 as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
How come
Well,
they're-
they're
yeah.
going to turn,
But I've actually heard complaints about that, like for real.
Fucking Conan Exiles is a game where you can literally take slaves, and I don't see anyone complaining about that game. And I guarantee that in that game it is not parody. It is just
Conan
genuine.
Exiles, you hang dong.
Conan Exiles is God's gift to man,
Yeah.
and there's nothing better than one of you guys walking up with one of our enslaved
But-
women fighters, and I'm like,
That's
she's
what
a
I
little
mean. That game is
overdressed.
almost a show.
And I
Isn't
take
that
her
game
top
just
off.
for men that have micropenis syndrome because you need to overinfect,
Well, on
overgrow your.
the PS4, you can't actually choose your endowment size. So
That's why you switched to PC.
yeah, that's true.
why
I
most
think
ones
it'd be
fail.
funnier to have a tiny penis in that game, though. I wonder how small they get, though.
That's interesting.
Like it probably can't be.
Kilgoth the Flaccid.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's I don't know, man. There's nothing. Honestly, that should be the most canceled game of all time. Is that Conan Exiles? If we're going to be honest, because you can enslave anyone.
It needs to be canceled for other reasons, but yeah.
And you can just strip women just at will. Like
People were mad at that Agony game for the same, again, it's like, oh, it's got fucking bare tits in it. And it's like, yeah, but they're like,
but Agony was just a
You know what?
horrible game.
the entire time.
I don't remember any outrage or real outrage besides me and Craig about Abby getting like force fucked from behind. Last of Us 2.
And they had to move her balls out of the way to do it.
No, because that was stunning and brave. Also, the outrage wasn't from the journalists. The journalists had to defend that shit because the gamers got the leaks of that scene and they were calling it stupid, which it is.
It is.
And then
It's
the journalists
unnecessary.
were like, no, it's cool.
Didn't you see how he grabbed her
Guy
big?
fucking a girl that
balls?
looks like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, didn't you see how they grabbed her massive sack and moved it out of the way to get to her vagina? That's
honestly,
awesome.
that scene is like one of my most
Who
hated. video
doesn't
games.
want that?
I just hate it because it's so unnecessary.
Who doesn't want to fuck a chick that'll
And, like,
chafe your dick with her ass?
Just
hair?
like, bro,
Ooh, it tickles.
It kind of feels like rape in it because, like,
you think?
it doesn't. I hate it. I hate that
Dude,
scene.
doesn't he go in dry?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude.
he
He
goes
goes in dry.
Well, I mean,
dog.
yeah. I mean, you know, as dry as
I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
yeah.
I guarantee you there is nothing about Abby that is, quote, wet. So, yes. As
Bro,
dry as
whatever.
fuck.
I saw her fighting. She was sweating a lot.
Yeah, I don't know,
Wasn't
man.
Sweat. That was pure
But I'm gonna
fucking
go
estrogen
back
leaving
to
her body.
playing as her was fun. I really did enjoy fucking choking out zombie.
Yeah,
It was sick.
I don't know. I just you know, whenever you go downstairs fast enough, you can hear a ball sack slapping against her leg, and it honestly, it sounds like a fish out of water. It's crazy. So I know he had to use both hands to move that thing out of the way to get to that.
It's like a big old
The
goat. It's a
vagino.
goat sack.
Let's put it this way:
shift
when
it
the
to the
leaks
left.
came out for those scenes, and everyone just assumed she was trans, I think speaks volumes.
Yeah, well, that's why I did that in that intro to that episode, because she was the one, as far as I was concerned. It's a beefcake, man.
Dude.
Yeah, I don't know. People just make they read way too much into things, and it's like you can't even make fun of people that you think are idiots anymore. Is kind of what is kind of where we're at, like with this, with articles like this and stuff like that. You know, it's like
They want sexual liberation as long as it's not between a consenting man and woman.
yeah,
I'm sorry, a consenting woman and a white guy.
And I feel like, again, yeah, you said like the sexual liberation thing, and like you just complain about seeing tits. Like, you go around
but again,
and it's
it's
just
like-
weird. Like that you would complain about that and
if
still
Duke
could.
was a lesbian, if Duke was a woman,
He
it'd
could
be
be.
totally fine. And no one would give a shit about this.
You know
That's
what?
I'm saying.
Maybe Duke is, and he just stuffs his pants.
I'm a lesbian.
yeah, maybe, I don't know.
I'm going through hormone replacement therapy. Dun 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 dun.
Those item pickups were my testosterone injections.
I came here to turn trans and chew gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Like I don't know, man. This article is just dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think people go way too far, and it's. You know, and it's all a mockery of the macho stuff. That's what I don't get. Is like it. The whole point of it is that you're making fun of the idea of someone being this ridiculous. It's not like it doesn't enable that.
No,
level
that's a
of
thinly
ridiculousness.
veiled attempt
Yeah.
at hiding your own misogyny.
No one makes fun of the
Yeah.
game.
I don't hide my
Lead.
misogyny. Don't worry. I've
No
openly
one makes
said
fun
like
of the PS3 game Eat Lead: The Return of Matt Hazard, which is an even bigger parody of characters like Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
and that came out only a decade ago.
Yeah, I mean, someone asked me to like pull a jam out of one of our letter machines, and she was like, "Hey, can you get this for me?" And I pulled it out, and I was like, "Women in the workplace, unbelievable."
Oh my God.
We give you an inch, and you take a mile. And it's
Yep.
fucking. And suddenly we got to
Hey, my
clean
party-
up after you.
Yep. As part of the union, she gets paid the same amount you do.
Yeah, so I don't hide that at all. Don't worry about that.
Good.
No, I'm kidding. I did say that to her though, but
HR thought it was way funnier than she did.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
And that's all that counts. Yeah, as
Yep.
long as you can make HR laugh. No, seriously though,
That would be the name of my autobiography.
yeah.
HR agreed with me.
Yeah, as long as I can
By
make HR laugh.
Zach.
Bro, I had a file at FedEx that was like, you're not gonna see it because you're a podcast, but like it was fucking that thick.
Yeah.
It
Are
was-
you on any registries now?
No, I was just a prick at work.
No, but he did have some restraining orders.
Dude, I tried to add my old boss on Facebook and he wouldn't accept it.
Nice. You know,
This
the
bitch.
biggest one that bothers me that didn't accept me on Facebook is there's like another Caleb Schweiss, and he wouldn't accept my friendship. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I don't have anybody on here really, but like, I want
He
you.
finally friend requests you, and then you just send him, like, as soon as he does, you send him a messenger. It's like, we have to fight now.
Yeah.
I've seen that. So that's a meme on Facebook. Someone like had the same name and he got like a 5-minute group and he's like, do you know what this means? And someone's like, what? And he's like, we all fight to the death.
Yeah.
That's great.
Grab like 2 or 3 broomsticks, snap them in half, and whoever lives is the true version. The fucking
And so if you don't make it, Alex names the next kin after you. And
Yeah.
hopefully he can win in the next
and
fight.
then maybe my seed is stronger than my body. It's good.
God.
I was mad though, and next time I'm just going to post the X-Files theme on his thing because we're like the same. Yeah, that's my next move. And if he doesn't accept me then I'll just block him, little prick.
Or you can go.
I think he
win
was,
because I blocked
I
you.
think he was a C, Caleb. We all know what
Go.
those are. We know what the C
Just
stands
kidding,
for,
babies.
you little fuckers.
You can go Weird Al
Crippling
with it.
depression?
You can send
No.
him. I think I'm a clone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, Father, I've returned.
Yeah.
Did your father leave you for cigarettes too?
Yeah.
Post that
Is
on the wall.
it just a Caleb Schweiss thing or what?
All I want to say is, out of all the bullshit articles that came out, we did get a really cool Resident Evil 8 first look, and I am very excited.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. Looks a lot like 7.
Hey, you got to be chill on that because that merchant, that's fat shaming. I saw an article.
I
about
saw that,
too.
and I
Is
was
there a fat
sad.
merchant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not watch the? There's. Yeah.
I watched a few
showcase.
minutes of it.
So
The
he's
new merchant
not in the
is-
trailer. He's in like the first look. So they did a thing where they like introduce characters. Yeah, he's this big old fat guy that lives in like this thing.
And he's sitting perched on the thing. How should I word this? It's like its own little mini house. There's shelves and stuff. So when he opens it up, he's sitting there. But then all the merch is on the left and right of him.
Or you can like,
But he's
or,
heavy
yeah.
set.
I guess, and they also said that like he's going to be in a bunch of different spots in the game. You're going to find him in weird positions throughout the time, which is cool.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be merchant from RE4.
Yeah, people are like, he's fat, so it's fat shaming, and I'm like, I'm fat and I don't care.
Wait, are they shaming him in the game?
No,
How is that fat shaming
no,
then?
yeah, people are just like bitching about it because
Like,
it's,
oh, he
Because
wasn't.
people
he-
are all day on social media with nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Get a job.
all I'm saying is, bring me that Dommy mommy, bro. That Mrs. D with those triple D's.
Yeah.
God, 9 feet of fucking sexy. God damn.
Still taller than the Xbox refrigerator.
Fuck, bro.
That was great. Hey, and the mistresses too.
Those
Dracula's
her daughters,
mistresses,
bro.
yeah.
Like, I just don't understand what they want from me in that game because I'm not running away
Well,
from any of
they're
them.
gonna be biting and sucking down on something. Then I'm gonna turn around and say, "No, I'm not leaving the castle." So
I'm gonna run straight to them.
I'm gonna run
100%
straight
of
to
time.
the Rule 34.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude. I love it.
Yeah, Village is
God,
gonna
I'm
be awesome.
excited.
You gonna play 7 to? Right
I
before
might. It
comes
kind
out?
of. I might. It kind of depends on like what games I need to play. Like if we have games that like they want us.
We
Well,
ain't
there's
gonna-
no forced entries left anymore for new clans.
Oh,
so
there are.
There are.
y'all are
there
just
are.
gonna ignore them, unless you can confirm right here to the listeners. When is Nocturne?
So Jake's not coming back next episode, just so everyone knows.
Yeah. It was a good try, bud.
Good try, bud.
I'm just helping out your Patreon. people.
You
When's
almost
Nocturne?
counted.
So
You-
no, actually, we have addressed that already. We're gonna play like when Nocturne comes out. Like at least me and Schweiss, I think. Like we're gonna play the new one.
Yeah, that's the
because
plan.
it's supposed to just be the same thing, just updated.
Oh yeah, it's just
so
remastered.
like, cool with that.
Yeah, dude. I'm pumped for that Resi 8 though.
I am too, dude. Like it's about time.
Yeah, I'm excited for that fat merchant. I hope he has some.
Oh, dude, he's great.
Hope he has some Twinkies on him. Fat fuck.
Dude, like, I love his fucking design.
Yeah,
like,
his design is great.
It's such a like not Resident Evil thing.
Yeah.
That it's like it's cool.
The only thing that I am struggling with that game is, do I buy it for PS5 or do I get it for PC? Because PC is easily streamable.
PC.
PS5 will be easily streamable too.
I guess.
Do you even have a PS5?
Well, it depends on the mod community.
How do you
because
know?
I got drunk the other night and I spent like 4 hours looking for one.
What? Where?
Let's put it this way:
all
I've
over.
seen the mods for Resident Evil 2. You should probably get it for PC.
I've seen the
Yeah.
mods for Jill and RE3.
Oh, yeah.
I might want to drop $3,000 on a fucking computer.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, they made her like. I don't like the way they made her in 3.
I hate her personality in 3 because it's,
I
not
don't
much
like.
there.
I don't like
but
the way she
face
looks.
model, are you kidding?
I thought face model was hot as fuck, dude.
It's the hair. Her face model in every other game is better. Every other one.
Yeah, I don't care. I still thought she was hot.
Yeah, she is. I mean,
There you go, see?
but like for talking Jills, it's like the lesser of the Jills.
Which Jill?
Yeah, there are.
Jill.
Certainly
you see
not
that-
the fucking blonde one.
Did you see that?
No.
Someone released like and I don't. It has to be fake, but it's like them talking about Resi 8, and it's like, Capcom confirms Lady Demestru pegging scene in game.
I like how they
boy.
actually like the official Resident Evil Twitter actually
So
came out and
funny.
gave her official height.
Yes.
Well, yeah, dude, the
gotta
whole
go
article
with
was
the-
dope
that's
because they were
like-
just like, we didn't they're like we're glad that the villains are getting like such like good traction, but like we just didn't expect it. And so she's like 9'6".
Yeah, bullshit. They knew what they were
She's
doing.
huge.
Yeah.
Especially the blonde. Come on.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's really sad. Her
like,
voice,
same
her
thing
like
with her.
voice
Like
actress
her
died.
design is so
It's really sad.
simple, but like iconic in a weird way. Just take Lady, make her big, dress her up like she's in the 30s.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
pretty
liking
much.
the gothic vibes they're throwing down.
Yeah, Resident Evil 8 jumped right to the top of my fucking most anticipated of 2021 list. For
What,
sure.
what else
Oh,
is
yeah.
there? 50
That's a
Cent
good point.
50s.
blood
There's
on
some
the
hidden,
COVID.
Yeah,
God.
there's some hidden remaster coming twice. You gotta help on that.
COVID proof.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what really is there?
Fuck, I don't know.
I was actually looking at games the other day that were coming out, and like it stops in like June. So like,
Well, because
Yeah.
everything's still up in the air. Because
well,
Yeah.
we can't
developments.
fucking get a PS5. That's pissing me off. I can't get a PS5. I can't get the 30 series
apparently they
graphics cards.
said March. There's supposed to be tons more.
They said that about like January, or fucking February now. And it's gonna be
But I
March.
know-
and they're still fucking up the online retail. So
Do you know where to
because of all the bots?
You know where you got to check apparently is like Smith's Marketplace over like the ones that like have like they're like
You like
The
trying to
big
everything.
ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guy found 2 and he got one for him and his kid because he's a fucking asshole.
Like in the store.
Yeah. There's an
dude.
electronic section.
Yeah, I know.
So as well, so you don't waste your time. Walmart doesn't stock them in stock anymore. Them are Xboxes. It says it right on the thing. It's like everything's online.
Yeah.
So like that cuts it down a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that means you just can't look unless you're looking online. So
I wouldn't even do that because then the bots would already have grabbed it. So you're best off just.
they got to stop eventually, though.
And fuck, what's it called?
If they don't fix the issue.
So you know,
there's
like-
still more that just go straight to resellers.
I don't remember what Kohl's. Kohl's like apparently during Black Friday, like Kohl's had sales for PS5s. So if you look online for Kohl's, you might find PS5s too. Which is weird.
You
I
still
wouldn't
got that,
think they would have that, but like whatever.
Sam's Club too, right? Maybe.
Yeah, Costco as well.
Costco and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
yeah, I did step foot
Man,
in
you guys
Costco.
are reaching.
And they have them. That's the thing is like that we have to
No, I
reach
know.
because we
It's
can't even
like,
get
it-
them.
It's like when you're looking
not
for
getting
something,
one
and
anytime
like when
soon.
I was looking for the Switch, and it's like I called every GameStop in the area, and then it's like, all right, I guess I'll try Toys R Us. Like,
Yeah.
Bro, you're the reason Toys R Us went down, you bastard.
yeah, absolutely.
Dude. Yeah, it just sucks, man. Finance systems suck right now.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, Switch for a long time you couldn't get either because of the fucking pandemic.
Yeah, since there hasn't been
Already had
official dates for most things in 2021, I can't really pin that down. At least RE8 actually has a release date. May.
It does,
so I'm
yeah.
looking forward to Ratchet and Clank at some point next year, but RE8 went straight to the top.
Yeah,
for me.
honestly, like what I'm gonna play, like what I want it for the most right now is Resident Evil 8 and Demon Souls. That's what I want a PS5 for.
Yeah. I just want to see my gaming hours for Conan Exiles. without having to ask for someone to send me a screenshot.
I'm going to buy a PS5 just so I can see how long I've played
It's
Code.
all for the Exiled Lands, man. You have no idea.
All things serve the Exiled Lands.
You could just switch to Steam and get a pretty accurate count on Steam.
That's
So
true.
You own it.
I do own
So
it
do
on
I.
Steam. I'm ready.
Dude, let's do it. Let's just fuck this podcast. Let's just do
Bought all the
Code.
expansions too, Zach. Again. It was actually cheaper. Although I did get the game for free on PlayStation, so I don't actually think it was cheaper. But now I need to buy a private server for PC
I
as
don't know
well.
why you guys are trying to hurt me like this.
Yeah, I mean, you might like it. You like Breath of the Wild?
Come on,
Oh.
Zach. Just drag your dick in the sand with us.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. I'm making a chick with big ass titties.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah. Did you make it? Did you start it on PC?
No, when we played on PS4, my chick was like a black chick with big titties. And white hair.
That's right.
You
I remember
would.
that.
Very progressive.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, A4 likes the chocolate.
Oh, I
Chocolate,
chocolate.
chocolate vanilla swirl.
I like the dark chocolate personally. Just actual chocolate.
I was like, your wife is white.
I know.
Look, just because I like milk chocolate doesn't make me any less of a man than you, all right?
Yeah, it
Don't
kinda
kink
does.
shame me.
It kind of does.
Just saying, man. Chocolate's not meant to be mixed with milk. It's all about that 95%
You know
pure
what?
cocoa
I
chocolate
provide
nibs.
the milk,
What-
all right?
God.
Let's get it straight.
What I do like about dark chocolate is it like brings out the flavor and other stuff too.
Yeah, that's right.
It's good.
Yeah, like
like dark
penis
chocolate.
when you suck a black man's dick.
Brings out the flavor. Jesus.
God.
Well, fuck. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Articles are trash. Kotaku's trash.
Did you read that Mass Effect one while I was taking a piss or what?
Oh, no, we didn't read that one.
Wait, what happened?
Long story short, they're taking butt shots out of Mass Effect Remastered that focus on
From
Miranda's
Miranda.
ass.
Yeah.
Why?
In a game with full-fledged, like, nudity. Not like full nudity, but
No,
like, you know,
it's,
sex scenes.
it's implied sex scenes, yeah. You don't see anything, but it's even softer than softcore.
Yeah. That's annoying. Implied sex scenes. I mean, come on.
Which is why, if you don't own things physically on disc, you should start doing that because they're
Yep.
going to keep doing this shit. They re-released Sam and Max Season 1, and they removed some jokes for being too offensive. Thankfully, I already had those on Steam, but
What's
yeah,
Sam
it's
and
like...
Max?
Yeah.
Old school point and click adventure.
Oh, okay.
In the same vein of all the old LucasArts games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, LucasArts actually made the original Sam and Max game.
Okay. All right. I get what you're throwing down.
yeah.
But Telltale re-released the first season, and they changed some fucking jokes. And they also changed the one voice actor because it's a black guy, and they wanted to make sure an actual black guy voiced him, which is fair. I don't know why they
Sorry.
didn't also voice... I don't know why they didn't get a talking dog to voice Sam, but, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. I
Yeah,
guess they
of
couldn't
course
find
not.
one.
Jeez.
I don't know.
Clifford was booked for the new movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
It's busy dog. It's big
Yeah.
red dog.
Big red rocket.
Big red dog, big red cock.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for us this week. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Next week, we're going to have some After Dark, as if it could get any darker and any more after than this.
Dark chocolate.
Speaking of, yeah. Speaking of dark, Zach on the podcast this week.
Whatever.
I usually help reserve that for Craig and fat jokes, but he's not here.
He.
I would say his loss, but I mean, is it
Yes.
really if it's a fat joke, or is it my loss?
Probably your loss.
Yeah, sad.
He's not losing anything anytime soon.
Yeah, speaking of not losing,
God.
Craig not on the show today. All right, guys. Till next time.
We put the ass in Mass Effect.
In the immortal words of Duke Nukem, you're an inspiration for birth control.
Live always in the nude.
Walk with your cock held high.
No!